With 11 main games and about 30 spin-offs, I wonder how I was able to ignore the Dragon Quest series for so long. So when a remake for Dragon Quest III was announced, I thought it was the perfect occasion to dive into the series, and honestly, I was not disappointed. What a masterpiece. Why 3 before 1 and 2? Well, Square Enix decided to remake the original trilogy in chronological order, 3 being a prequel to 1 and 2. Alright then, without further ado, let me take you into this journey with me as I summarize the adventure. The game starts by telling us to follow the sound of a voice. I walk forward and make it to a huge waterfall. She, who watches over all, asks me a few questions about me. First, my true name. Alright, date of birth? Sure. The many questions that come after are a bit strange, but I try to answer honestly. Seriously, so many questions. She even asks some of them twice before moving to the final test of my character. I get teleported into a musical theater. Some guy asks me if I could ask his fiancée if she still likes him. She says she wants to put her career first and can't marry that guy. So I tell him the truth. She, who watches over all, is done analyzing my personality, and actually, she's kinda spot on, I'm not gonna lie. During a short flashback, my mom is worried about me being too young for something, then skip to a scene where we learn that my dad has disappeared. Mom wakes me up on my 16th birthday. Today, I'm leaving for my big journey and need to ask the king's blessings. We step outside and follow mom towards the castle. I just want to clarify that this is an RPG, so of course I'm going to inspect every inch of the map before proceeding to the objective, but don't worry, I'm not going to get into the details and get straight to the story. We enter Aliahan castle and meet with the king. He greets me as Child of Portoga and goes on to talk about my heroic father and how he fell into the maw of an accursed volcano. The king then approves my wish to follow in his footsteps and says I could save the world from the terrible archfiend Baramos. But we won't do much alone, so we are advised to meet with Mistress Patty and find some companions. The Chancellor tells me to seek out the Thief's Key as our first objective, to make our travels easier, and I should head to the village of Reeve in the northwest. Before we gather a team, we take a look around and talk to that guy in the castle's dungeon. He says that his Thief's Key is in the Dreamer's Tower. With it, we can open any red door in the world. We also find a mini medal, trinkets that can be traded for prizes in the well in Aliahan. We lose no time and head to Patty Party's planning place. I decide to keep it simple for now and gather a classic group for adventure. A warrior, a mage, and a priest. There are many other jobs, but we'll get to those later. I check out the well and enter the mini medal manor, but I don't have enough of them to get a prize yet. Time to leave town. As I'm walking around on the map, I encounter my first battle. However, it's the beginning of the adventure and these guys oppose no threat. Anyways, we keep heading north towards Reeve and beat up crows, slimes, and ant nibblers on the way to level up. We arrive to the village at nightfall and decide to rest at the inn. Again, every time I arrive somewhere new, I'm going to check out everything and talk to everyone. Don't worry, I'll just stick to what's important. In one of the houses, a young boy mentions the Thief's Key. Just like that prisoner told us, it's in the Dreamer's Tower on the tiny isle west of Aliahan. He goes on to tell us there's a way to reach it through a hidden passage in the woods south of here. We head out and search the woods to quickly find a shrine. There's a hidden tunnel next to it. This place is dangerous and battles can trigger in here. The boy wasn't lying. We're inside the Dreamer's Tower. Again, this place is full of monsters, but my priest's whoosh spell is incredibly powerful. There's a convenient inn inside the tower, and we take a chance to rest before we keep climbing. We XP a lot in here, as well as find plenty of treasure chests. We make it to the top, and an old man just hands out the Thief's Key. That was easy. He tells us to use it in Reeve, so we chimera wing our way out of here. We can enter this house with the red door now and find a huge spot in there. There's also another old man, and he knows only Ortega's child would have found the Thief's Key. So he gives us the Wrecking Ball. By the way, the voice acting is great.
You can use that to break the seal on the teleportal.
We can use the Wrecking Ball to break the seal on the teleportal, whatever that means. He adds that we should check out that spring east of Aliahan. We walk all the way there by going through a desertic canyon. Here we are. The Path of Promise. Down in the basement, no monsters, but another old man. We use the Wrecking Ball and open the way forward. The old man gives us a world map for our troubles, and we can see what the world actually looks like. It looks like Earth actually, with Australia here, Africa here, Europe, and the Americas. Our group of adventurers enter the tunnel, and here we find some enemies, so we try to be careful to XP a bit. Also, it's easy to slip and fall back to the basement. The second dungeon has it all. Tougher enemies and treasure chests everywhere. As we enter the light pedestal, we get teleported to the Shrine of Promise. in Italy. We make it outside for some fresh air and meet with a friendly slime. Yet another old man. Is everyone old in this game? Rushes to say that some monsters are actually good. He says he'll look after these guys and introduces himself as Monty the Monster Monitor. He asks for a favor. Send any friendly monster we encountered his way. We can use them later at the monster arena of Romaria. Back on the world map, Romaria is actually right there. After a well-deserved night of sleep at the inn, it's time to explore and talk to everyone. It's funny how the NPCs here have Italian accents. We check out the monster arena, but so far we only have Splattrick, so we decide to come back later. We enter the Romaria castle and explore a bit. We talk to a prisoner who tells us about Robin Hood up in Skyfell Tower. After that, we go greet the king and the queen. He recognizes me as the hero of Aliahan and asks me to go after that Robin Hood who stole their crown. We head north of town, where some knights seem to be preparing to march north to a village named Khoriv before heading to the old tower. The commander asks us if we're the ones from Aliahan and brings up the crown being stolen. Because of that, the outpost that leads to Portoga is closed. By the way, the Italian accents are truly fun, and I'm really impressed by the quality of the dubbing.
Mi dispiace for the trouble. I am truly sorry. I know this will not help your journey.
It's okay. We walk west towards the Romarian outpost, but it's closed indeed. If you want to go through, we'll need the magic key. We turn back and decide to check out the north side of the map. We make it to Khoriv, the village mentioned by the knights. We explore a bit, do some shopping as usual, but there isn't much going on here, so we keep going up north, to Norvik. It seems the whole town is under a sleeping curse, except an old man. He says we need to return the Dreamstone to the fairies west of here. Before I do that, I decide to take the mini medals I found back in Aliahan to see what kind of rewards await me. And for 8 mini medals, I get a thorn whip, a leather dress, a garter, and an edged boomerang. I fly back to Norvik and head west to meet with the fairies. The monsters here are annoying because they keep poisoning the party. We enter the fairy village. It seems the locals don't really like humans and there's not much that we can do, but one old man says the sleeping curse is the fault of his son, who ran away with the princess of the fairies. I decide to try to talk to their queen. She says her daughter, Aniseed, fell in love with a human boy and ran off with the Dreamstone. I have no clue on where they went, so I try to focus on the main quest for now and finally run to the Skyfell Tower, where Robin Hood is hiding with the crown of Romaria. This is another cool dungeon with all the usual. We find a friendly poison slime in there and send him to Monty. This place is really huge and we fight so many monsters before making it to the top floor. This looks like the thief's hideout indeed, and we get noticed by 2 thugs who run away to let their boss know about us, intruders. Doesn't really matter, we follow them and end up in front of Robin Hood. He's even wearing the crown. He tricks us with a trap and tries to escape. We catch up to him and his boys, and a fight is inevitable. This first boss fight is pretty tough. This guy is hurt, and I have to be careful about the way I fight for the first time in the game. We start by taking care of the guards before focusing our efforts onto Robin. He goes on to beg us to spare him. I try to say no, but the game actually doesn't let me.
I'll turn my life around, I'll go straight, I promise. Just let me go, please.
No.
I'll turn my life around.
Oh, I have to.
Straight, I promise. Just let me go.
No. The knights arrive right on time, but they jump off the tower and flee. At least we got the crown back. The knights say we should bring the crown to the king, then check out the Great Pyramid in the desert to the south. Apparently, this is where the magic key is. We fly back to the king and he's delighted to hear the news. Something unexpected happens next. The king asks us to rule in his stead. I say yes, thinking it's a joke. It was not. For a short while, I can't do anything. Not even open menus and such. Because I'm the king. I run around town to the monsters arena, I find the former king there and ask him to take back his crown. I guess it's time for us to check out the pyramid now, so we head south. Before we make it to our objective, I visit the town of Asham at the desert stores. I do some shopping and listen to what people have to say. We're ready to continue and make it to the pyramid. The inside is very cool, but we tread carefully to avoid traps. After a long walk inside the never-ending corridors, our progress gets interrupted by a heavy stone door. We solve a confusing puzzle involving buttons to open the door and meet with the second boss. The Ripper of the Rifts is surprised to see us and summons nightmare creatures to fight with him. We need to focus those two. They keep casting sleeping spells onto my team and they can also heal the boss. We defeat our foe and before turning to dust, he says that the boss troll will make short work of us. Anyway, we get the magic key and open the door, blocking the pyramid's treasure hall. There are a lot of chests here, but each time one is open, it triggers a defense mechanism and a fight will ensue. I'm not one to leave chests unopened, plus the items are pretty nice, so I'm getting all of them. Once all the chests have been opened, we access the top of the pyramid and just jump down. With the magic key in hand, we teleport back to the Romarian outpost and unlock the way towards Portoga. We head south and enter the coastal city. After checking out the docks, we enter the palace and meet with yet another king. Without much context, he asks us to fetch him some of that eastern pepper. If we succeed, we'll be honored as a hero and get rewarded with a ship. He points us towards the dwarf Nordi's cave and mentions a warrior from Aliahan, without knowing he's my very own dad. We accept and quickly meet with Nordi, read him the royal missive, and watch him punch the wall open. We make it to the other side of the mountain, and as we keep heading east to get our hands on some pepper, we enter the town of Baharata. As soon as we arrive, we witness an argument between Gopal and an old man, who appears to be a seller of black pepper. Tanaya, Gopal's girlfriend and the old man's granddaughter, got kidnapped by bandits. He begs for my help as Gopal runs off to do it himself. Well, I guess we know what to do if we want to get some pepper. We head north, but before I enter the bandits' hideout, my curiosity gets the best of me and I decide to visit the Alltrades Abbey, just a little further up the road. This place is important. Here you can change your party's member's job. They have to be at least level 20, and it brings them back to level 1, but they remember all their old abilities and spells, and their attributes values will only decrease by around half. I decided to turn my warrior into a monster wrangler, my mage into a martial artist, and my priest into a merchant. Now that this is done, I enter the bandits' hideout, which is a confusing layout of hallways and rooms filled with monsters, until I reach some stairs. We confront the bandits, destroy them, and find Gopal and Tanaya between bars in the basement. We free the lovebirds, but it's not that easy. An old pal blocks the exit. Robin Hood. He's not happy to see us, and it's time for round 2. As usual, we start by taking care of the ads. The boss hits hard, but we manage to best him without too much trouble, and with characters who were back to level 1 not too long ago. Alright, I have no choice but to spare him, and as Gopal and Tanaya thank me, I teleport back to Baharata. In town, Gopal tells me he's actually all out of black pepper, but a merchant in the Alltrades Abbey has some. I guess this is to guide the players there, but yeah, I already know about the place. We talk to the merchant and he gives us all the pepper we need. We lose no time and report back to the king of Portoga. He's delighted to see that we succeeded and gives us a ship. As the king throws a banquet in our honor, I have another vision. She who watches over all is back and lets me know of the next step of my adventure, which consists on taking on the seas and retrieve the orbs scattered around the realm. We don't really know what the orbs do for now, but we'll find out soon enough. At the docks, a guard advises us to check out the lighthouse south of here first, and we embark on our new vessel. In the lighthouse, we get some leads on where to start looking for the orbs, and get ready for the next step of the adventure. We start by sailing north, and set foot in the town of Edina. As we try to enter through the gate, the guard declines entrance. A bard who had the same problem tells us to look for this herb that turns you invisible. We're not getting much more info though, and I have to turn back. We sail south and follow a river that goes inside the continent until the grim town of Theddon. There's no one here, except for a few skeletons laying around and a message on the prison wall that reads, "I had hoped to bequeath my precious orb to a worthy custodian while I yet lived." I leave the place thinking I was done, but we'll be back here soon. For now, let's just keep exploring the world. I reach a big island in the southern seas and discover yet another city, Lanson. We find exactly what we were looking for at the store, Fading Jenny, a plant that turns you invisible. The island is home to some huge shrine, but I don't have the key to get inside yet. So we go back to Edina and fool the guard who denied us passage. The castle is huge, and the basement is home to a puzzle involving rock pushing. Get all 3 boulders on the special tiles and avoid pushing the rocks into the water to open the way. I admit this was not super easy, and I had to think for a moment, but we succeed and open the door. We find a chest and open it to get the bottomless pot. A letter stuffed inside the pot says we can use it near a rocky reef in the ocean to the north of a gap between the capes of 2 continents. Before we go, I make sure to explore the castle and teleport back to Lanson, where I got the Fading Jenny, to get back to roaming the sea. I head northwest and set foot on an archipelago in the town of Jipang. Right as we enter, we witness a secret meeting from a group of locals. It seems the young Yayoi has disappeared. I understand that their leader, Queen Pimiko, sacrifices young girls to a monster called Orochi to quench his appetite and protect the village. We take the time to explore and, in some random basement, find a suspicious spot. It was Yayoi. She fled, not wanting to get sacrificed, and tells us about that infamous monster, Orochi. It lives in a cave to the east and demands maidens in exchange of peace. Before we leave, we pay a visit to the castle to meet the queen, but we're not welcomed. Alright then, next stop, Orochi's lair. It's really close by Jipang. The place is located deep underground with lava surrounding the area. Again, it's filled with monsters. We even find metal slimes in there. Worth a lot of XP, but annoying to get rid of and fleeing easily. After a long trip inside the cave, we find the altar where girls were sacrificed and Orochi. This boss is kinda scary with the AoEs, but doesn't have that much HP, and we quickly get rid of it. As the beast is defeated, a thick fog covers the scene, and we manage to follow it through a portal that takes us back to Jipang Castle. We confront Queen Pimiko, who seems to hide her face behind a fan, and as she speaks to me in my mind, I refuse her terms to remain silent. Pimiko is mad, and we have to face Orochi a second time, but this time, it's going to be much harder. Now, this is a boss fight. The game was fairly easy up until now, but Orochi doesn't mess around. A couple of tries will be enough though, and the beast is vanquished. As she fades into dust, the foe drops something, and the first orb, the purple one, is ours. As the news of what happened spread into Jipang, she who watches Auroral talks to me again. She just says the orbs need to be taken to the shrine of the Everbird, and leaves. Yayoi and the villagers thank us, and we get ready to continue our quest. We bid farewell to Jipang and get back into the ship to sail north until we arrive in the town of Moor. We get yet another cinematic as soon as we arrive and get mistaken for someone else, a certain Peridivizhnik. Everyone knows this guy here. He's a legend, and it seems I look a lot like him. You guessed it was my dad, Ortega. We then learn about my dad's legacy and more as the villagers tell a story of how he arrived, how he stood against the monsters, and protected everyone to save the day. This place is mostly lore, but we get my dad's old helmet as a reward. We leave Moor behind and get back to exploring the seas. A bit further up north, we make it to the place that was described in the letter we got in the bottomless spot and approach a spiky reef. We decide to drop the pot into the sea, and this causes the water level to drop and reveal an ancient underwater temple. In the Shallows Shrine, a single chest, but it contains the ultimate key. Now no door will ever block my path again. We also see a skeleton on a throne, talk about the pit of Gaia, but we'll get back to that. I remember that temple I couldn't enter back in Lanson and try my new ultimate key on the lock. There's a priest waiting for me, and he proceeds to ask me if I'm down to try the ultimate hero bravery test. I agree, but I have to leave my friends behind for now. We enter a small desert until a shrine, Gaia's Navel, a solo dungeon. This place is pretty cool, very mysterious. It might look easy to get lost, but it's actually pretty straightforward once inside. Anyway, in the deepest level of the shrine, we are told over and over to turn back by giant goblin heads. Another orb, but it seems I'm not the only one interested. The Chiromancer appears and attacks me for resisting. This guy does pretty decent magic damage and keeps summoning a little vampire dude to his side. Oh, he also heals every time he attacks. This was much easier than Orochi though, and we quickly dispose of him. We pick up the blue orb and get back to our party. We're making good progress, but there's still a lot to explore. So we go even further up north. We reach Snowy Shores and enter the first building we see. A dwarf welcomes us to his home, and just like in Moor, proceeds to tell me I remind him of an adventurer he used to travel with. You guessed it again. My dad. We witness a flashback of the two discussing about Zenithium, the strongest ore of all time. Alright, good to know. We say bye to the dwarf and follow the river inside the continent until we reach a narrow passage. A powerful invisible force pulls our ship back, and it seems we can't cross for now. At the nearby Promontary, a bard tells us about the story of Olivia, who threw herself in the water from this very place. A spirit denies passage to ships, and it seems she will only know peace once Eric, her promised, delivers her from her wrath. Oh, and yeah, apparently Eric wanders the sea on a ghost ship. Good to know. We find a portal there that takes us to another unexplored continent, and I decide to keep going from there. We walk and walk to the city of Manoza, and the atmosphere is heavy. It seems like the local king suddenly became a vicious tyrant, and most villagers advise us to leave the place. As I make my way to the castle to investigate, a young man stops us and warns about the terrible king. Even his own dad, Simao, was sent to jail 10 years ago for nothing. I can't enter the castle and turn back for now. I go around and enter from the kitchen. I explore the castle and end up getting an audience with the evil king. He instantly throws us in the dungeon, but we don't stay long. We have a key that opens every door in the universe, remember? Anyway, down in the cells, we meet the rightful king of this country. The other one is just an imposter. With not much more details, he tells us to check out that cave in the southeast. We escape the dungeon and do exactly that. It's a cave with chests everywhere. But there's a catch. Some of them are legit, and some of them are mimics. Mimics are annoying because they know Thwack, a spell that insta-kills. But I have to check it out. No chest left unopened here. At the end of the cave, we find Ra's mirror, an item that reveals disguised monsters, and head back to Manoza. We confront the imposter in his own bedroom at night and wake him up by shoving the mirror to his face. It was a boss troll all along. Time to put an end to his rule. This guy is pretty basic. He's tanky and he hits like a truck. Pretty straightforward for a troll. We best him in combat, but he says Baramos will easily dispose of us before fading away. She who watches Auroral is back to congratulate me, but also to point me towards my next objective. An old man and a magical staff, the bones of the dead and a wandering vessel, a sword of the earth and a mountain most fiery. The real king thanks us and rewards us with a magical staff. Convenient. I get back to Theddon. Remember that empty town with the writing on the prison's walls? Turns out I was supposed to visit at night. Duh. We enter the prison with the ultimate key and meet with the guy who wrote that. His ghost, I mean. He's happy to see that a hero like me visited him and gifts me the green orb. But we get ambushed by a shadow and it looks like we'll have to fight for it. This is an interesting boss fight because the enemy keeps summoning ghosts back to the battlefield, so it's better to lower all their health bar at once. Alright, green orb secured. I get back to the unexplored continent, but this time, I check out the very south. It's home to the pirates, but they're actually quite nice and welcoming. There's a statue outside that emits a suspicious red glow, and as we push it, it reveals a well with a couple chests and the red orb. Huh, that was easy. During an exploring session on the new continent, I ran into a strange looking tower, Fifer's Spire. This dungeon was pretty painful, and I'm not gonna explain everything, but I'll just say that once you're on the very top floor, you'll have to walk on ropes and fall where this flag is to reach the end. I find pretty good gear, as well as an item called the Echo Flute. It's supposed to help me locate the orbs. Spoiler, it's pretty useless. The next part is a bit tedious, so bear with me as I try to summarize it the best I can. On the most eastern continent, we discover an unnamed place with only one old dude. He says he wants to build a town here and needs a merchant in order to make his dream come true. I have a merchant on my team, but I'm not leaving a party member alone with a stranger, so I teleport back to Aliahan and recruit a new merchant to come along and call him Slime. Back to the old man's, I drop Slime and let them get to work. Now I think I discovered this place later than I should have, so as we teleport in and out of here, we witness the place getting bigger each time. The second time, we notice the unnamed town is now called Slimeburg, and it seems it now has an item shop. The third time, Slimeburg has expanded some more and features an inn. The fourth time, Slimeburg has become a big town already. Slime has his very own mansion, and there's even a music hall kind of place that tries to rip me off 50,000 gold coins. We also find some people plotting behind a building. Looks like Slime is some kind of bully to them, and they're planning a revolution. The fifth time I enter the town, the place has been renamed the People's Republic of Slimeburg, apparently no longer under the dictatorship of the evil Slime. The musical place has turned into a kids' theater, the mansion has been sacked, and we find our old buddy in jail. He says there's something he wants me to have, and I'll find it behind his big chair in the mansion. We check it out and find the yellow orb. Phew. That's done. I try to remember what she who watches Auroral told me, and magic rod in hand, head to the northern part of the map. This place is called Grimland, and there lives an old man. He's happy to trade the mud rod for the old boatman's bone. I can't help but feel like I got ripped off, but actually, when I open the map, I can see the icon of a ghost ship now. I remember that Olivia's lover Eric wanders the sea on such a boat, and hurry there. I explore the upper deck, then go down the stairs as I fight sea creatures and zombies. In a little box, I find what I came here for, the lover's locket. I even get to meet Eric, or at least what's left of him. Okay, that was quick. Let's get back to Olivia's Promontary and see what happens. We hop on board and try to make our way inside the passage once more. The locket starts to shine, and we witness the reunion of Olivia and Eric. Both their ghosts thank us and can finally rest together for eternity. Oh, and yeah, we can finally cross. On a small island, I come across the Shrine of Shackles, a grim prison with relentless souls hanging around. In a cell, one of them recalls the name of my father, Portoga, and hits us with a flashback scene. Portoga is dueling this guy, by the name of Simao, the dad of the guy who warned us about the king in Manoza. The two seem to be friends, fighting off monsters together. We witness Simao and Portoga split up to make it harder for the monsters to find them, but I already know Simao was sent here to rot shortly after going home. The spirit of Simao tasks us with hurling his sword, the mountain cleaver, in the volcano and fades away. I don't really know why though. Conveniently, the volcano is just down the river. We enter Mount Necrogond and begin to climb towards the crater at the top. As we get ready to cast Simao's sword, Garboil appears. He talks about how he sent a guy that looked like me take a dip in the magma, so this is where my dad met his end. Just like the king said in the beginning of the game. At first, it seems like the fight is going pretty well, but he spams AoEs and casts dazzles, which causes some of my party members to hallucinate. This feels like a heal check here, making sure we stay alive and healthy on the long run. After a rather long boss fight, we land the final blow. Garboil is defeated, and my father, avenged. We get to see another Portoga flashback and see what happened here, years ago. Our foe fades into smoke, and the coast is now clear to finish the job and throw the sword. Doing so results in a violent volcanic eruption, with lava flowing towards the river, and we decide to follow the path it created. After a long walk, we make it to the entrance of a cave. Welcome to the worst dungeon of the game, I guess, the Maw of Necrogond. This place is super long, but the worst part is monsters. We've got all the annoying stuff, the fast ones that paralyze you before you can do anything, the ones that one-shot your entire party, the ones that spam protect, and sometimes all of them at once. At least we got some metal slimes. Anyways, this place is no fun and it was tough, but we finally crossed the cool bridge with all the massive armors and get to see the light again. Next to the exit lies the Necrogond shrine, where a man greets us. He's amazed we made it this far and just gifts me the silver orb before letting the fate of the world in our hands. Alright, that was the last orb we needed. Next up, the shrine of the Everbird. Located in the very southwest of the map, this snowy island is home to an incredible temple. We climb to the very top and meet with the residents of this place.
We are the guardians of the egg. When the 6 orbs scattered across the world are placed on the golden pedestals, then shall Romaria, the Everbird, be reborn. The realm thirsts for the light. Deliver it unto us by offering up the 6 orbs.
We obey and place each orb on the pedestal of the same color. The orbs resonate, and the egg atop the tower awaken Romaria, the Everbird, back to life. We now have the ability to fly and reach anywhere on the map, with beautiful music too. I ride Romaria to Baramos Lair and prepare for the ultimate showdown. This place is intense, but probably one of my favorite dungeons of the game. It just looks so cool. Basically, it's the remnants of an old, huge castle that was attacked to become a proud bad guy's lair. I go around the area, fighting off hordes of powerful monsters and getting lost in the different wings of the domain. We even get to meet the previous king. Further away, there it is.
So, you have found your way here at last. You know that to stand against mighty Baramos is to throw away your life. And yet you still came. A decision you will come to regret. But not for long, for I shall rend you asunder and devour your innards.
I quickly realize I'm not ready yet, as he blows up my entire party in no time. I spare you the details, but I basically prepared my team off camera, and I'm ready for round 2. Even if it goes much better than last time, it's not easy. He reduces magical resistance, throws fire again and again, and confuses my teammates, causing them to hit each other. He also casts Blasto, a spell that sends a member flying for a few turns. But at last, it's finally over.
You... How? Curse you! This is not the end. I shall not give up so easily.
The Archfiend reign has ended. Peace has returned to the land. The first one to congratulate me is she who watches over all. Fast forward a little, there's a party in Aliahan. We return to the king and get to see mom and grandpa shedding tears of joy. The king throws a feast in my honor and everything is well. Until...
I must apologize for intruding on such a heartwarming scene. I am Zoma, Master of Darkness, Lord of the Underworld. And so long as I will it, your realm shall never be free of the pull of night. Now, suffer. Your pain shall be my pleasure. All shall know despair, all shall kneel, all shall give their lives in sacrifice to my glory. For I am Zoma, bringer of oblivion. Obey, and your suffering shall be short. Resist, and you shall know true torment.
The celebrations are cut short, and the king decides to keep Zoma's existence a secret to avoid despair. Later, I can't seem to be able to sleep. Mom too. Of course, I can't just stay here, and as we get ready to get back to fighting, we check out another short flashback of Ortega's departure. The next day, a beam of light reveals a structure in between the mountains, our next destination. Ramia is waiting outside of Aliahan, and we take the skies towards that new strange place, the castle of the Dragon Queen. The closest place in this world to the heavens. People here seem worried about the Queen's era coming to an end. So we enter the throne room and get an audience here and now. The Dragon Queen lets us know about Zoma and starts by saying he stays in the depth of the Underworld. She also tells us how to cross and reach the world below. The Queen proceeds to gift us the Sphere of Light before fading into the light and leave but an egg behind. The castle residents weep the loss of their queen as I take my leave and approach the entrance to the Underworld. The Sphere of Light dispels the black fog and reveals the path ahead as we jump with no hesitation whatsoever. We land on a small island and meet a guy who introduces this place as Alefgard and tells us everyone knows about Zoma and how terrified they all are. He advises to start by checking out the castle town of Tentagel before going to the Dark Lord's citadel. Oh, he also lets us use his ship. What a guy. We head to Tentagel and realize this world is very similar to ours, with people living here and all. In the church's prison, we meet an old friend. Again, he tells us about the Sunstone, a valuable gem kept in the dining room of Tentagel's castle. Alright, we were on our way there, so we might as well try to find it, I guess. As soon as we set foot in the castle, we get stopped by guards and they take us to the king. He asks us if we know Ortega. Of course I do. After that, he proceeds to explain how my father lived down here a decade ago. He was found injured and had no memory of his past. He served under the king for a while and was well liked by all, until one day, he simply disappeared. I explored the castle for a while and it appears Robin Hood was right. We actually find the Sunstone, but don't really know what it's for yet. We exit Tentagel and decide to take a boat ride around the area. Then, on the southern coast, come across a strange tower, the Shrine of the Spirit. We meet a shiny light who introduces herself as the servant of Rubis, and the one who kept calling my name. Yes, she who watches over all. She reveals her true form and helps us stand against Zoma. We will need Rubis' help, but she's currently trapped by Zoma in the Tower of Rubis. By the way, Rubis is the principal goddess of Alefgard. First off, I need to find the fairy flute. It will be needed to awaken Rubis and free her. In order to do that, she says I should start by looking for clues in the village of Khor. She also gifts us the Staff of Rain. Apparently, combined with the Sunstone, a bridge may appear. We leave and follow the fairy's advice to head to Khor. I look around the village and meet a family from Jipang who came here to escape Orochi. We'll be back here later, but for now, we check out the hot springs and find the fairy flute buried there. Now that we have that, we can sail towards the tower and attempt to awaken Rubis. We enter the dungeon, start exploring and fighting monsters. This place is pretty standard. What stands out and makes the Tower of Rubis so unique are these blue and yellow tiles. It looks intimidating at first, but it just changes the controls according to the arrow's layout. Very simple. At some point, I have to trust the process and jump from the top floor all the way back to the ground floor, but on the opposite side of the entrance to keep going forward. I finally make it to the top floor and, as I approach what seems to be Rubis,
They say you are the strongest of your kind. Well, I will be the judge of that. Today, you are faced with the Lord of the Underworld's mightiest servant. Do not perish too quickly now. I want to savor the fight before gorging myself on your juicy innards.
Yeah, you said that before. Anyway, Baramos is back, or should I say, his soul. This time, he has two ash demons to his sides. They can inflict fear to the party, buff each other, prevent us from casting spells, and even heal. Obviously, because of their very supportive move pool, my first thought was to deal with them first. The soul of Baramos uses a lot of fire spells, so having a bit of fire resistance is welcome. Not that difficult of a boss fight, and we finish the foe for the second time. Baramos flees to tell Zoma that I'm blessed by the light or whatever, and I take out the flute in front of Rubis. Her shackles break, and she's finally free. Rubis tells us about the rainbow drop and the sacred amulet. She tells me to seek out the most hallowed of sanctuaries, and speak to the descendants of those who once placed their faith in her. Before we leave, she imbues the sphere of light given by the Dragon Queen with what little strength she still possesses. Our quest takes us to an island to the very south and a temple in the woods. In the sanctum, a priest welcomes us under a rainbow. We show him the sacred amulet, he takes our Staff of Rain and our Sunstone and combines their powers to create the rainbow drop. The priest then tells us to make for the cape to the southwest of Rimuldar to access the Isle of the Great Fiend. Okay, so technically I can take on Zoma's citadel right away, but first, there are a couple things I should do to prepare. First of all, I head north of Tantagel and enter the Talantir Tunnel, a mysterious cave in which I can't use any spells whatsoever, not even Chimera Wings to get out. After a little trip in this dark place where magic is forbidden, we find a room filled with crystals and chests. One of these chests contains the Hero's Shield, the best shield in the game. We exit the tunnel, and not far from there, we find Galen's house. In the basement, we pick up the Lyre of Ire, an item that calls out enemies and can be useful when grinding for XP. Okay, we have the shield, now we want the sword. We teleport back to Tantagel but head south this time. After a long walk through the desert, our party arrives in the city of Damdara. I take the time to explore the place until I find what I came for in the horse enclosure, a lump of Orishalkum. We depart from Damdara and keep going east. After another long walk, we reach the walled city of Cantlin in the mountains. There we meet with a researcher who introduces us to a very ancient broken sword he has. He happily lets us take it and then talks about how he's trying to create animated statues he would call golems. Anyway, it's time for a trip back to the old world. Remember that family in Kol who fled Jipang and Orochi? The guy said he had to leave his tools behind, so we do him a favor and swing by his old house to pick up his forging hammer. We lose no time and bring it back to him. I take the time to show him the broken blade as well as the Orishalkum in hope he could restore the blade, to which he agrees. And just like that, we got the Swords of Kings. Just one item left to get before heading to Zoma's citadel, the Helm. As we explore the map before the ultimate showdown, we discover Quagmire Cave and run into Robin Hood's men. They tell me about Zenithium, that ore my dad and the dwarf once talked about in that flashback. Apparently, I could find some in Gaia's navel. Remember that old guy that gave us explosives in the very beginning of the game? Let's pay him a visit. He happily gives me another wrecking ball, just what I needed. Now, back to Lanson and Gaia's navel. I rush through the dungeon and take another route, still getting harassed by the goblin heads. I push a statue and enter a secret room, and realize Robin Hood's men were right. I ready the wrecking ball and run away. Alright, Zenithium, perfect. I just need to get back to my dad's old dwarf friend and show him the ore. With it, he repairs my father's helmet to turn into the Auroral Helm. There is one more place I want to visit, and it's marked with an X on the map, Rimuldar. A peaceful little village. In a room behind the inn, a chest containing a recovery ring and a diary. As I decide to read it, another flashback from Ortega hits me.
I recall being a warrior, one of the land's finest. It seems I was on a journey long before I ended up here. My resolve is now unbreakable. I'm convinced I'm on the right path. I simply need to see this quest through to the end. However, it must be done alone. Living in terror of monsters for so long has drained the people here of all the fight. There are still a few people whose faces I just can't seem to remember. An old man, a kind woman, and a newborn baby. Perhaps they're my kin, or simply those I once held dear. If they are in fact my family, then how they must resent me for choosing this journey over them. But I don't think I would have done things any differently, even with my current perspective. Regardless, there are more important things for me to be getting on with. The small matter of ending the Lord of the Underworld, for one.
It seems like my dad had the same idea in mind and stormed Zoma's citadel before we could reunite. All the paths lead to Zoma now. There's only one thing left to do. Just like the priest said, we make it for the Promontary west of Rimuldar and use the Rainbow Drop. A rainbow bridge now connects the Promontary and the citadel, and the only way is forward. We reach the final dungeon and enter through its gates. This place is hardcore and looks incredible. A true palace worth the name of Citadel of the Lord of the Underworld. We walk through the gigantic halls and into the throne room. We get ambushed by statues before we can do anything, but they're actually quite weak. The door opens and we push the giant throne to the side to reveal a secret path. It leads to a perilous room made out of blue and yellow tiles we saw in the Tower of Rubis, and then some more underground tunnels. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit and get to the interesting part, a couple basements under. Deep under the citadel, as we get closer to our objective, we witness Ortega, alive and well, fighting with a dragon. My dad is alive. As I run to help, monsters try to stop me, but there's no way I will fail so close to seeing my father again.
Is somebody there? Seems my eyes and ears are done for, sadly. Oh, praise the goddess. Oh, listen, you probably don't know me, but I need you to pass on a message. I'd been living under a haze until recently, but I remember it all now. I am Portoga of Aliahan. I left behind my dearest wife and newborn to set out on a quest. One that I fear has now reached a premature end. What I wouldn't give to hold my little one's hand. To give them something to remember me by. Oh, my darling child. Oh, you must resent me. The way this journey tore my family apart has long filled me with regret. If only I could have spent more time with them. Please, should you ever find yourself in Aliahan, look for my child and tell them I said this. I'm sorry. I wanted to make the world a better place. A place where you wouldn't have to be afraid. And I just wish I could have told you that I love you more than you'll ever know.
And just like that, Portoga's legacy comes to an end. With resolution in my eyes, I keep going, decided to avenge my father and end Zoma's reign of terror.
So here you are at long last, here at the place of sacrifice. I am Zoma, bringer of oblivion. All life shall be sacrificed to my glory. All shall despair. All shall kneel. Come, offer yourself unto me now. Arise, my minions. Obliterate them. Let me feast upon their suffering.
Before we can face Zoma, we need to start by getting rid of his strongest lieutenants. First off, the King Hydra, the one responsible for my father's demise. This monster uses a lot of fire AoEs and inflicts annoying status to the whole party, like sleep and fear. We defeat it and get ready for foe number 2. Ugh, this guy again? The soul of Baramos. We bested him in the Ruby's Tower, but he's back, without his friends. He's obviously stronger now. He virtually does the same stuff as before, but also has Thwack, an annoying spell that has a chance to just one-shot the whole party. Fun. Finally, he's gone for good. What's next? Seriously, again? After taking care of the original Baramos and besting his soul twice, we now have to take care of his bones. The bones of Baramos hit hard and heal themselves for a good amount of HP after each round, but they are super fragile and we absolutely destroy them. Good riddance.
Still, you cling pathetically to life. It seems only right that I should have the joy of dealing the killing blow myself. Now come, show me how beautifully you die.
Here it is. We finally get to face Zoma. He's extremely strong and uses powerful ice spells. Early into the fight, the game will ask if you want to try using the Sphere of Light.
So, you have learned how to overcome the wards of sorcery that protect me. It matters not. Come, dash yourselves on the unfeeling shoals of my might.
Oh, he's mad now and starts sending waves and waves of insane damage our way. This fight is about surviving. I try to focus on keeping everyone healthy, attacking only when I can afford to take damage. This is an absolutely perfect final boss. Powerful, but not ridiculously so. Beatable, but after a few tries of understanding the mechanics. And of course, a glorious music all throughout the fight. After a long and epic battle, our party is finally successful.
You have done well to defeat me. But whilst there is light, so too must there be darkness. I see that which is to come. Another shall rise and take my place. The omens are already there. Open your eyes. And when he comes, you will be powerless to protect your craven kind, for you will be long dead.
We run away as the citadel crumbles to the ground, but get trapped as we flee. We magically end up in the Talontier tunnel, where we found the shield, and make our way to the surface as this place is about to collapse too. Once outside, the veil of darkness fades away, and light shines once more on Alefgard. With that, the doorway to our world closes too, and with it, our chances to get back to Aliahan. In Tantagel, we are welcomed as heroes, and decide to pay a visit to the king.
Thou hast done well indeed in smiting dread Zoma, lord of the underworld. That thou art returned to us unharmed is a gift for which we give thanks unto the Almighty. Morning hath broken on our kingdom at last, and all is thanks to thine earnest efforts. Though it seemeth that dread Zoma's demise hath sealed the doorway between our realm and thine own. Alefgard must now take its first steps as a world in its own right. It must emerge, blinking into the dawn of its becoming. All is thanks to thee and thy companions. Thou art a hero without equal. I do hereby bestow upon thee our kingdom's highest honor, the title of Erdrick, which meaneth dwelling land in the ancient tongue, a name befitting the land's chosen hero.
And so, as savior of Alefgard, my name will be passed into legend of that realm as Erdrick, hero of the land. But when the celebration finally died down, the hero was nowhere to be seen. He left only a sword, a suit of armor, a shield and an amulet behind, as these become great treasures of the kingdom. Erdrick's sword, armor, shield and mark, as the sacred amulet came to be known, were handed down through the generations. Thus were the seeds of salvation sown. The end credits show snippets of image of the hero after his victory, as well as some of the characters we encountered during the adventure. But the post-credit scene is what makes it really interesting.
Your Majesty, fear not, for I will see that thine offspring grows into a fine leader of the land. I promise, nay, I swear, upon my name, the name of Hargon.
That's it for the story. I'll quickly go over some post-game content, but I won't dive too deep into it for now. Maybe in another video? Let me know if you think you'd be interested in that in the comment. After the credits, we are taking right back before the final fight, but now we can access the heavens. To do that, we can just fly to the castle of the Dragon Queen and step into the Well of Light. This will take us to an island in the sky with an entrance. This is a huge dungeon, a perfect mix of all the places we visited before, and of course, it's full of powerful monsters. Crossing this incredibly long dungeon will take us to Cloud's Gate Citadel. This will lead to meeting with Zenlon, the Temple of Trials, the Grand Dragon, and other fun and challenging surprises. But as I said, I'm going to focus on the main story in this video. I also spared you some side content like the Monster Arena or the village of Norvik and the Dreamstone. This was a truly incredible game, and I fear I might have got infected with Dragon Quest fever. I can't wait to discover the remakes of Game 1s and 2, as well as get into all the other games in the franchise. Like I said, 11 main titles and more than 30 spin-offs. I feel like I'm entering a whole new world of fun. Alright, I don't want to make this too long, so my outro will be quick. This was an extremely enjoyable experience all around. I just wished I didn't play with the objectives showing on the map. I didn't really know what I was doing and it kind of ruined the exploration factor for me. At least now, I know that I need to turn that off in future games. The music and the voice acting was on another level, insanely good OST and charismatic characters. I really enjoyed the different accents the local have depending on the region. It also provides plenty of room for people who love to optimize teams, many party configuration possible, and customization tools. The story was really cool too and got me involved. Thank you for watching. Again, it was a lot of fun to make and I'm already looking forward to working on the next one, which is gonna be Darksiders 3. I'd love to hear about your experience with the Dragon Quest series and I'm excited to read all your comments. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to hit like and subscribe. I can't believe I made it to 1,000 subs. It's a dream come true and it's all thanks to you. Alright, I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Okay, bye.